Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting episode of We Shot First, Star Wars Saga Edition RPG. Yes, it has 15 books, yes, it's a bit of a dinosaur by now, but I bet there are people out there that had a good time playing it, had a good time DMing it, and will hopefully have a good time listening to us hashing it out. As much rules as written as possible. Shout out to superfan Doug Baldwin, who pointed out that moving diagonally possibly costs 2 squares. Yes, no, but withdrawing diagonally can actually be a pain in the butt because it's like illegal and such.
Technically, there is no diagonal movement. It's all cardinal directions. Right. Is essentially how they want you to play it.
And yet there is extra costs. I actually received an email with pictures. Yeah, the pictures help. It's like a little picture book right out of a rule book talking about soft cover, moving from cover and stuff, and it just chews up your movement. It's so bad. Now, luckily for you, when we left off, I believe you were on the colony post-Clone War world of Cato Nemoidia. You are on the city of Zara, on a giant hammock over majestic Chinese moss-covered looking mountains and a mist below. Watch out for potholes. You had schmoozed. No, you really kind of beat the crap out of a Devorian, Warwick Davis. No, that's not right. Warwick Raiden. Warwick Davis actually played Wicket, the Ewok.
Yes.
I got my Warwicks messed up. Terribly sorry. Great actor. Love him. Love everything you do. Love you, Warwick. Anyway, Warwick Raiden, the schmo, which I have kind of an image kind of pictured here behind me in the video vision. For my viewers, we finally made it to Darga's palace, Darga the Hutt, and we were trying to gain audience. Now, you guys split the party again. Sent Poser with his bike. Nope, didn't want to leave it up front.
Immense confidence in our friends' abilities.
Yeah, there you go. They're an hour away. And we're gonna see, not game time, but like in lifetime or game time, how fast you can burn through that hour. So I believe a booming voice was demanding something from Warwick, who now grovels in front of the raised dais in this large main audience chamber, which again is your proverbial 3, 6, 9, 10 squares deep, going to your left 5 or 6 or 7, going to your right 5, 6, 7. Generally dog-shaped. There's an entrance in your back. There's an exit and stairs up to your left, an exit to your right. And behind the dais is like a balcony, a huge freaking balcony overlooking something that you can't make out from way over here. The thick, smoky yummy yuck in the air, and a decent galactic country singer who suddenly stopped his music, singing about midnight destics. Warwick grovels. But you guys speak Huttesse. What did he say? He demanded from Warwick directly why he would bring outsiders here. Warwick became in Huttesse, or like in
Before
common.
he starts talking, I may want to interrupt him, but I'm going to do a knowledge bureaucracy to see how well I know to behave in front of the Hutt, and I got a 17.
They consider themselves royalty. Do not speak unless spoken to with a 17. You know this. Pick your moment.
Okay.
I'm not saying you have to suck up and grovel, but you do know that there's interrupting him speaking, or him speaking when his attention is to someone else. Unless you're like, excuse me, my lord, there's a fire. You know what I mean? Especially in the diplomacy world of being first introduced. Also, it actually makes you look better.
Okay.
To be pointed out by an underling.
I'll take a knee and elbow Merrick to follow suit.
Okay. So Raiden is groveling. You give the big guy a smack, and you guys take a knee. And he grovels, and he's like, Truax, which means silence. And then he raises a hand, and just with his 3 fingers, gold rings and green nuggets sparkling, waves over one side, and shambling out in metal capacity, we see a droid, likely a translator, a protocol droid. Hello! Yes, my lord. Of course, my lord. I am TC-663. At your service. Immediately, my lord. The HUD is...
Lefty, righty, tighty, whitey,
I got anything. So the droid kind of turns front to you and says, I will translate for my master. And then there's just this big, uncomfortable pause. Like they were waiting for the droid to say or do something else. And he makes this sort of shift-click reset noise, and his eyes flash. For my master? A little bit of a spark behind the back of the head. Even the droid in this place seems a little bit in disrepair. But he probably spent all his money on bling as opposed to, like, upkeep of the castle and its servants. Anyway, then, and only then, do Darga's giant eyes rest on you each in turn for a very long moment. Now, you guys do speak Huttesse.
Yep.
But I remember in the last episode you were talking about smarter than they think we are. So are you playing along, acting ignorant?
Yes.
And at least you'll know if the droid is translating properly, right? Okay, so we'll play this out. His Excellent Darga demands to know why I've taken on a Python sort of translation, but I suppose we're just going to have to go with it. Terribly sorry, everyone.
I'm not dead.
I was going for something high-pitched, but now I'm into it. So, he demands to know why you've come before him. Why have you convinced his underling, Raiden? And he leans in and does like this stage whisper. Get up off the floor, you're embarrassing us, you silly Devorian. Obviously adding something that you know, because you speak Huttese, that the master didn't say.
Okay.
And the Hutt just ignores it, whether he, chooses to or whatever. It doesn't even like garner a slap or how dare you say something or, how you speak for me kind of thing. Just leans it out. And the Devorian just kind of looks up and Darga's looking away and he just sort of, gets up to a knee like you guys are. So he demands to know why you've come to his palace and how did you guys convince Raiden, to bring you in here? And then there's a big pause like, and you're on. All eyes turn to you.
You will have to forgive the intrusion, Your Eminence. And please, don't hold anything against Mr. Warwick here. We didn't give him an option.
He had no options.
We've come to this planet seeking knowledge. Whether you choose to impart it is entirely up to you, but I'm willing to negotiate for it.
Information is my bag.
My master says he's always willing to barter for information. I mean, what are crime lords for, am I right? Everyone? He just kind of turns his head 360 like he's asking the room, and Darga just completely ignores it.
Okay.
Am I right? And his head spins right 360. Anyway, Darga himself says what he says and then starts, sort of meatily stroking his many layers of jowls.
All 5 chins.
All 5. He's trimmed down. He had 7. He's hoping you'll notice. First time you met him, but he knows he's trimmed down, right? So, can I have some galactic lore from you, gentlemen?
Sure.
Certainly.
17.
Are you aiding another there, big guy, or?
Yeah, I will aid.
Okay.
As always.
You just hold him up and he yells, 17!
7.
I'm doing well. Okay, well, unfortunately, 7 is not gonna help us so much.
I unaid.
You
I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's worm people.
So, where were we? Yes, 7, no, does not aid. 17, doesn't do bad. These guys are like spoiled princes. I mean, flattery, gifts, winning their favor, sucking up, saying you're a great asset to them, trying to get into their employment kind of thing. You play the long game. They like to be amused. If you just walk in all cut and dry in business, they get kind of bored. You know what I mean? They would take 1,000 credits and a weekend of schmoozing and ass kissing over $5,000 up front going, nice doing business with you, briefcase, Jimmy, give them the money out. This,
I certainly hope I can be more interesting than that.
Okay. Anyway, you were speaking of interested in information and, the galactic lore filters into your head.
What do you wanna?
Well, you speak Huttese. Maybe if I just, fit common in there.
Yeah.
As opposed to having the droid going, he wants to know what the hell you want.
No, we're dedicating this. I want to hear that Englishy accent.
Yeah, I do. I do enjoy it. I like the voice. I think you should rock it.
I'm trying. No one seems to be listening to me. I'm trying to do my job. What sort of information, or what gifts have you brought? What gift? I saw that 17. What loot, what swag have you brought to his great majesty Darga the Hutt? Spark.
And again, bowing low, Rahal says, before we get to what I'm after, I understand how these things work, Your Eminence. In order to prove that we are trustworthy individuals for you to engage in business activities with, I will offer you a service free of charge to prove our trust to you.
No.
Of course, this is expected. They look, both the droid and, the Hobbit seem pleased and lean in, but they're speaking nonchalantly. Like what?
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of things you need done around here. I'm sure your hold on this city is as powerful as your presence itself, Your Eminence. But even you must have something that slips through the cracks, or maybe is a pain or a thorn in your side that we could assist you with.
Okay, so, again with the stroking of the chins. Long pause. Lots of stroking. Lots of chins. And then he pulls the droid, motions for the droid to lean in, and holds his hand up against his face and does the whisper over into the droid, I see. Of course, Your Eminence. Right away. Well, that's a given, isn't it? Yes, I understand. No, I'm sure it won't turn out like last time. These two look relatively competent, right? Yes. My lord, if I may. And Dark is like, in his ear, is like, like, how dare you interrupt when I'm talking? And he actually does smack him. And there's a lot of sparks, and he doesn't smack him like you would just normally, like, just whack a droid like, hey. He full on, arm goes way back, and just boom, and the droid goes flying across the room and hits something hard. And sparks and sputters. It's like this droid shuddering pulls himself up. He's like, my Imperious Lord welcomes you to his court. Rooms and provisions will be made for you and your company. This way, please. And he just kind of pulls himself up and motions at, two guards that fall in behind him. And they walk past you, or he walks past you, and the guards kind of like come up to you and stop, waiting for you to go.
Okay. I'll stand up, pull up Merrick. Well, I won't pull him up, but I'll pull on his arm to get him to stand up.
Yeah.
And then before turning from Dargal Baulo again, I thank you for the audience, Your Eminence. And I turn to follow the sputtering droid.
Chupa.
And he claps his hands, and the Galactic Country Singer, starts up the music again. And Warwick kind of takes the chance to sort of exit stage left, like not leave the room because he hasn't been dismissed, but just kind of get out of the front sight of, like maybe he's forgot about him, maybe he's forgiven him because now you guys are having an asset, whatever. But you guys do see Warwick just kind of slink into a corner and, get away from the focus. Music starts up again, and you guys are taken south of the map here towards guest quarters.
Excellent.
Aha, we didn't want to get taken north.
As soon as we're out of the main hall and into the hallway towards the guest quarters, I'll inform T whatever 636
TC
yeah.
663
TC 663 that the number in our party, and ask about where the best place for us to keep our ship would be in the vicinity.
Oh, well, at the far end of the city there is, remnants of a spaceport.
Okay.
Have you seen how tall the buildings are? I mean, when you pulled up, they blot out the sun. I mean, the sun! Eh? And he spins his head like trying to get some kind of rise or reaction or comedy or something out of the two guards that just completely ignore him.
Merrick contemplates giving him a good swat.
Couldn't do any harm, right?
Maybe try to fix him.
Sorry?
Maybe try to fix him.
Yeah. So we arrive after a long hallway at guest quarters that you can see on the map now. And their modular rooms is a large open space with like a 10-foot wide carpet and another 10-foot either side to the door. So like very open hallway and sort of a dorm setup with double doors. Rooms are very large, like a 20 by 20 room. This is not, 20 foot by 20 foot room.
Yeah, this
is
nice. It's
quite
classy.
large considering. But then again, this was a palace, like this was owned by, the rich people
of Keto Nemoidia.
Of Nemoidia. Of Keto Nemoidia. So, you guys don't really have any bags, They didn't seem to worry about you turning over weapons or anything. The place is crawling with, like, those Nico muscle. You know what I mean? Like, you guys would barely get 2 shots off before 6 people would just gun you down. So there is that kind of...
Never before have I seen
where
such
you
a
are,
wretched
right?
hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah, these are our people.
Yeah. By the way, your bomb count there, I also remembered you asking about, searching the room for bombs. D8, check out my new red and gold speckled galactic dice. Just got them. Ooh. You located 4 bombs or 4 objects that you could turn into bombs inside the main room.
That includes 1 droid.
Yeah, that includes TC, who's now with you.
He was the first one.
He would make a very good bomb.
Some of these are mobile. Yeah,
and that right there, my friends, is why Merrick gets paid the big bucks.
Have you actually, I know you leveled and you were talking about making bombs.
I did pay him $1,500.
Yeah.
He got paid $1,500 once, I think, right before we got to the Resurgence. And then after that, all the money has gone into the ship.
After that? And now there's nothing.
Now there is nothing. I was like, oh, crap, I have to bribe him. I'm like, I'm a poor rich man.
Merrick gets paid by being enabled to do what he loves.
Yes.
You're an enabler. All right.
But no, I can turn a radio into a bomb.
Oh, okay. Good to know. So several doors, and he takes you sort of like all the way down to the end here.
Okay.
And just they open up a door, Anyway, he takes you, obviously the speaker boss or whatever, to a door, opens it, and does the grand salon open where he grabs both handles and steps forward and opens and shows you the grandeur of the room. I believe these rooms. He says steps in, turns 180, and also gestures across the hall at the following, and then out to the right, indicating as many rooms as you need.
The arms go forward, but the head is still maintaining eye contact with you the entire time as he walks forward in front of you.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I thought that'd be a game with this guy, right? Like his head pivots 180 as he opens the doors and the chest cavity moves forward. The head is like facing you guys, and then the body goes in there, turns around, and he finishes gesturing. These rooms will suffice. And this one across the hall, and up to the right as many as you need. Now on the map here are 6 rooms easy, and with the same size doors and generic spacing, you would assume that they are about the same size each.
Okay, fantastic.
Dinner's at 7. Don't be late. We're having roadkill. Again. God, I love my job. I'm here all week. Try the buffet. Anyway, so he leaves, but the 2 guards stay.
Okay.
And they just kind of, loiter in the hall.
No problem.
Actually, they retreat back to like the wall here, like the area of, one of each end or that kind of, you know what I mean? Like
before we let him go, we'll make arrangements for the rest of our merry band to make it in.
So you want to call them up or? Yes.
While we were walking down the hall, I would probably do that. Get on the horn with one of them before we even got to the rooms.
Okay. No, when you said make arrangements, so you describe your guys to T3 and say they're coming to the door, let them in, bring them here, or do you want to like go up and get them? Or
I don't know. Let's use my I don't know what knowledge that would fall under.
You'd always send Merrick, but I don't know if you want to not have Merrick near you.
I think I'll be okay for a little bit, but
then I can just go get them then.
Send my manservant. No, you know what? That's splitting the party up too much.
How many ways can you split it? And then I hit a corner where I can go left or right, and I go both.
Yeah. I'd probably give him a description and or tell him to summon me when they arrive so that I can bring them in. Actually, would probably be what I would do.
Yeah. He starts having a one-sided conversation, like a comm link is going off in his head.
Okay.
Yes, my lord, of course. Yes, the dungeons are ready for Master Raiden, if you wish. I shall have him dragged immediately. Anyway, and then he twitches and starts walking away and makes like another phone call, and you assuming he's tapping comms of other guards.
Okay.
Find Raiden sulking about the main audience chamber. Fluffy's eyes aren't what they used to be. Can't find him himself. I have to do everything around here.
So yeah, and then once he's gone, I'll get on the comms, let them know what went down. Look at Merrick, sigh, and go, well, I think that went better than I was expecting.
Dealing with Huttesse is always simplistic.
It was a little... This is where you roll intelligence or galactic lore. Could be possibly... Waiting on that roll. Don't make me do this sound.
Is it tarp? Is it a tarp?
23 galactic lore.
Too easy.
I will assist.
Way too easy. Something's off. He probably would have been like, go stand over there and amuse me. Like, he just kind of like, right, sure, you're in, and shoved you down to like a room. So,
while he's doing that, I want to case up the joint and see if there's if the room's bugged.
Sure. Which room?
The one we're in front of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bottom right.
So while you're waiting for the boys to catch up, you're gonna do, be your security. You are Raw security, so you're gonna like sweep for bugs, blah blah blah, right? Yeah. And Raw, you are plotting.
Plotting, yes.
Okay.
Checking out the room. I'll take a look around as well.
Is that mechanics? Did you find other mechanical devices?
I'll just see if I can
Perception,
find anything. Yeah,
because they would use stealth to hide them. They'd use deception to hide them.
Perception
Mechanic
of 18.
Yeah.
That's a 5 total.
You find no bugs in the room. However, a mounted disc with a dark orb like sticking out of it, right? That has the red LED light and the little girl at the bottom for like obvious camera view video audio is very apparent up in the corner of the room. Whether it works, I'm just saying, there's no, whether it works properly, who knows? But you sweep the room for like, secret bugs and everything, and no stealth going on here. But there's an obvious top corner, keep an eye on your guest kind of thing. And it looks like it's original structure, like the Nomoidians had something going on, right?
I contemplate dismantling it.
That would be a mechanics check. So, getting back to the other guys. Aiden.
Yes.
You towing your bike? No, we had Zin driving Warwick's car and you were riding and driving the bike.
Yes.
Back to Dargus Palace.
Correct.
And I was just describing to Jay and Frank, to Dr. Leth and Zin, for the first time, you see the towering buildings blotting out the sun and the manipulation of left, right, like kind of this place is pretty well hidden in the richest, or what might have been the richest, lavish, largest building part of the city itself. Again, ruins, crumbled, not great shape, and you see these giant recessed set-in blast doors covered in weird runes. Do any of the three of you speak Huttese?
Yep.
No.
No.
Okay. Dr. Leth, it's the grandiose criminal Huttese bit, as we'd said before in previous episode. You're in the presence of this, my name, a little bit of lineage, but not so over the top kind of thing. Buyer beware. Free parking inside. Does say that. Gifts left at the door, inside, that type of thing. Gifts accepted. That kind of thing. And these two, the Nico race, those, do you guys remember Deep Space Nine? The Cardassians or the Kardashians? Not the Cardassians, the famous people, but the Kardashian race, like the lizard, right? They're gray. They kind of have a little bit sort of like bone or horn protruding in the jawline.
Not
Sorry?
Cardassians, not Kardashians.
Right.
Yes, the Kardashians.
Well, this race all had black hair. I don't see much of a difference. Anyway, the
Faces that have obviously been altered by surgery.
Yeah, Cardassians.
The world is controlled by lizard people, so
Ace the hair, no hair, and that kind of skin tone, that kind of face, that kind of reptilian skin kind of bit that they had. Only it's more of a brown and a muddy brown complexion into gray as opposed to straight up gray.
Oh,
that's what
the Kardashians. Gotcha.
I still don't get it, but
I don't know.
I think this
I'm
is
this
a
close to
reference.
gassing your guest room. They're that's close, man. Anyway, the Nico race. 2 guys, big rifles, on top of this door up on the wall, just looking at you. Door's closed. What do 3 of you want to do?
Gonna open the door?
Doesn't seem to be any obvious panel or anything on this side. You just jump out of the car and approach the door.
No, I look up at the guards.
Yeah,
Gonna open the door?
they just look at you.
Turn to my companions. Well, I'm out of ideas.
Poser?
I will dismount the bike
Mhm.
and I'll walk towards the guards and be like, "We are here to meet with Darga the Hutt. We were a part of the party from earlier, the short one and the pinstripe stormtrooper outfit and the behemoth that looms. We're with them. If you are the same guard as when they showed up last time, I was there here. I was there with them. Are we allowed entrance?"
New dice. Sparkly. Red. Galaxy dice. Black with white. Imperial. And white with black number. Stormtrooper dice. All recently purchased for such occasions. Sith and Crime Lords. I think I'll roll the red. Though I guess that decision shouldn't be based on a D20. But anyway. Recognizing Warwick's car. And no matter what you say, there is that you guys pull up and somebody is running inside to go, hey, somebody's here describing you. Yet let them in. Run back, which is not these two. They just stand there and look at you.
Okay.
But finally, after a very long wait, the door, there's a big heavy metal clank. The door opens. Doors open. One sticks, but there's no one like addressing it. They're open big enough to get the bike and you guys in, but be a tight fit to get that land speeder in there. Not
Okay.
when somebody opens that door.
I guess I'll walk over to the door and start giving it a tug.
Yeah.
Or well,
strength.
actually no. Before that, I'll turn around and look at the other two. Should we bring the speeder?
well, I suppose
Take the bikes and the speeder can stay out here, right?
the speeder isn't really our concern, but I suppose if you are that attached to your bike, there's parking inside.
Yes. Well, I believe whatever gets left out here isn't going to stay left out here. So
Did we give our word that we would look after what's his name's car?
I believe that he had been taken out of the car by Merrick. I tied my bike to the car and drove off with it. I don't know if there was words exchanged, nor do I really care.
Well, then let's go.
Then it sounds settled. Easy come, easy go.
Okay. After you two. And I will mount back up on the bike.
Okay, so bike goes in. You guys walk in. Just leave the Works land speeder out here.
Yep.
Okay. Head inside. Doors don't even bother closing behind you. You get sort of an open compound with all kinds of buildings everywhere. And 4 Gormorian guards come out, line up. And out comes a little bit weathered, you could say, even sparking out the back of his neck, protocol droid. And he introduces himself, shuffling forward as the guards part for him. Hello! I TC663. I understand the rest of your party is already inside. Yeah, well, of course, I led them, didn't I? Yes, this way, please. And he turns, and the head, really creepy, still looks at you, but the body 180s and starts walking away. But the head, they're still looking right at you.
Awesome.
The guards, flank around you guys. They don't ask you for weapons or anything. They just let you guys come inside, Poser's either slowly riding or, pushing the bike.
Slowly riding.
Okay. Take you across the compound. This is, you may leave your vehicle over there, sir. And you see, like, a whole bunch of large, smelly riding animals and some junky-looking speeders and, like a mosh of some open garage doors or whatever.
Okay. I'll find a good, hopefully clean place to put it.
Okay.
Away from the animals and remove, the keys or spark plug or whatever.
Sure. You rejoin the group.
Yep.
Right this way. You guys come through what's more like an archway and a wall that divisions to another part of a courtyard. You guys come through. The door closes. Camera stays back, and the garage doors, there's several in a row. The one Aiden parked his bike in, Poser parked, the door just slowly closes. And then we hear some vicious clanging, banging, ripping, gleeful, happy Nikos just tearing into this new thing that got delivered to our door. All this, that kind of thing. All the racket sense going off, all that stuff. So you guys are led, and here you are now on the map. You're led to an opulent, well, as opulent, I suppose, as it could be described. Darga's throne room, as I said before, is both opulent and repulsive. There's still a thick layer of oddly scented smoke drifting through the air, rising out of braziers in the corners of the room. Once beautiful tapestries likely line these walls. Most of them have been torn, burnt, or there's still some stained to the point that they are pretty much almost unrecognizable. There's a raised dais in the room. That's this large rectangle with the rivets on it. It supports the massive bulk on a large divan of what must be Darga the Hutt. Behind him is actually beyond 10 feet. It opens out into a large, like 10 by 30 foot long porch overhanging open air something. There you see, an exit on the right, an exit on the left. The Hutt himself, a mere 6 squares away, but it's a solid 30 feet, seems distracted. He's sort of leaned in and having this sort of quiet conversation with 2 Nico guards. And TC comes in. Your opulence, your excellence. The rest of Master Olberis's party has arrived.
I don't think I gave them my name.
Well, you know what? For reasons that'll be revealed later, he still says it. And you're not there to call me on it. So you guys have to assume he introduced himself. But no, it's legit. There is an interesting catch here. You'll see
I know
soon
the
enough.
catch.
Nope.
It's really your dad.
He had a name tag. No. Mufasa? Your father? No. The Olberus party has arrived? The Hutt turns his focus. Large eyes fall upon you, each in turn looking you over slowly. And then in a thick Huttese accent, and he kind of waves away the 2 Nico guys. At once, sire. And the droid just kind of leaves you there uncomfortably as he just wanders off through the south exit. And you guys are just kind of like left standing in the room. And all kinds of people are like eyeballing you, right? The Hutt looks you over once and then just kind of ignores you guys like you're insignificant or something till something else happens. What do you guys want to do? Droid runs off quickly to do something.
What did he say?
In Huttese, he says,
Fetch their masters.
Oh, okay. Then I would just kind of, I would move off. And is there anything to, like, at least a semi-decent drink around here? Somewhere I can wait?
I wouldn't say there's like an open buffet or food tray. There is a small station with, good-looking male and female servants that are standing there seemingly at the ready, wine jug in hand. Darga himself lays on his right haunch, so sort of like the opposite angle of what you saw Jabba the Hutt in the movie, a large golden sort of plate on a peg with green nibbly bits. He has rings, gold on every finger, some with green studded gems, and he clutches a very large gold goblet, which, as you spot that tray, as if on cue, he, and a servant comes over and fills his cup. Can I have galactic lore, gentlemen?
Yes, you may. Striking an average of 10.
Oh,
That would
14.
be not galactic law 24.
Okay. 14, you're in the crime boss's lair, poser. It's sort of like they call the shot, speak when spoken to, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, wait to be called upon. Dr. Leth, he does seem to have control, wealth, and abundance of hired help. Don't let maybe this is the best he could do for now as far as like rundown world or whatever. But you ever hear Khan? I would rather rule in hell than serve in heaven. Right? His obvious power over this broken place is apparent. The way the room is set up, the way all the people defer to him, eyes down, the way everyone's acting. He doesn't seem to be any kind of puppet regime. This seems to be, although maybe not as powerful as some Hutts you've heard about, dude seems to be legit crime lord, watch your step, and no amount of, guns could come busting on the scene. You know what I'm saying? That's why they don't care if you're armed. There's not much you guys could do without, foolishly getting gunned down on the spot. But you're not waiting long. And then, sure enough, TC and 2 guards come back out of the same entrance, and they are leading both Rahal and Merrick. Rahal, Merrick, TC fetched you from the rooms. Merrick, you were talking about the camera, and I was talking about how it was like original, like Nemoidian design, creepily, not something the Hutt put here. You didn't find any bugs or whatever. And we were talking about mechanics checks. In that time you were waiting, did you want to play around with this thing?
Yeah.
Or see if it was working?
Yeah,
or?
I want to rip that bad boy off the wall.
Okay. Yep. Have at it.
Have at ye, sir, I say on guard. And then I grab it with my meaty hand. And that warrants a 15 mechanics check.
Okay. Yep. You managed to get it off and keep it relatively intact. A couple trailing wires, that kind of thing.
All right.
Have a poke at it. It does seem that it could be it could, it is getting power and it should work. It's just not in great shape.
Especially now.
Well, now you've actually taken it off, but I'm just saying nothing looks corroded or dead or that it never worked. It does, looking it over, it does look like it should function.
Okay.
Of course, there's no one really to tell, but
In the satchel.
Okay. So, getting back to present time, Rahal, you're fetched. You come in the room. You see your guys all lined up, just kind of, patiently waiting.
Just walk into the room, look their way, give them a nod, and move over to stand with them.
TC 663 informs you, for his digressions, Master Wayne has been thrown to the dungeon. So saith Darga, so it is done. And he just kind of bows, and there's a bunch of murmuring. It was yeah, good call. Kind of irrelevant at this point, but they're really sort of making sure that you didn't miss anything that happened when you were gone. And for those that got the 14, so Poser, Oberus, Dr. Leth, it's just kind of maybe these guys aren't as great as I initially thought they were, or this droid is just really weird. So there's another delay, and he kind of gets up, shuffles back into place off of Darga's side and waits for Darga to, give a command. Anyway, Darga's sloshing his drink and nibbling and looking around and, plays the waiting game, lets you guys really sort of set in that, you are in his environment. He is in complete control. And then...
Wait, is there music playing?
Yep.
What kind?
Galactic Country.
Ugh.
And everyone seems into it.
Okay, well, Poser is turning his nose up in disgust.
Okay, there's a young Corellian with red beard, actually about your age, not a lot older, playing, an electric, acoustic electric guitar and, playing some songs. But it doesn't look like he's singing so much right now. It's just kind of like just filling in the void of the, like the background thing with little scats and then, hit my hit single.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I roll slight scoff.
Okay. Finally, Darga decides to, pay you notice and launches into
Mota, Mala, Onga, Baona. Then stay a weekend, if, please me, and see how it plays out. Services are, well, Manawanga guest, it goes on and on. Anyway,
you get the drawl, the guys speak Huttese, that he's suggesting strongly that until he needs your services, nothing comes to mind at the moment, but he will take you up on your offer of service, Oberus. But since he doesn't need them now, you're now his sort of guest, and he invites you all to join his court. So, Dr. Leth, now the buffet's open. And has sort of a sly underlying there's just that obvious tone coming off of him. And TC is like, my opulent lord has invited you to join his court at his whim for as long as it pleases him. Your services aren't required this moment, but a complete list of what you can do and what we believe you can do. And it's kind of embellishing, type of thing. A couple of sparks. Dr. Leth, Poser, and Zin are new on the scene. You notice this droid really embellishes. I don't mean like just sucks up to Darga. He actually throws in comments that doesn't sound like a direct translation. Like his actual opinions are being tossed about. And as long as you serve well enough, you don't want to end up in the dungeon like some Devorians we know, eh? And his head spins around like he's searching for everyone to laugh or a joke. And Darga ignores it. Something that you would think would normally, get a smack or something or put him in his place or whatever. Darga just completely lets it go.
Interesting.
Yes. So,
Turn looking to my companions. What fresh hells is this? Remind me again what we're doing here, because I'm not seeing it.
Apparently we're partying.
Patience, fellas. All in due time. Coruscant wasn't built in a day.
But it was raised in one.
Well, if we're on staff, you there, Piss Boy. And I'll move over towards one of the serving people.
Yeah.
And reach for the carafe. I'll
Okay.
take that.
Okay.
Take a big pull off of it. All right. This place is looking better and better by the minute.
It is noted by the hut, and you hear that sort of low. Can I have a perception check, guys?
Certainly.
Perception. 18.
11.
24.
22.
Ha, I beat Merrick. 12.
For those under 15, the hut just seems sort of like displeased at something. Maybe he's just uncomfortably letting one go, or doesn't like the taste of his wine. Those kind of witness Zin's actions note that they are noted by the present room. Like everybody sees what he does, and instead of maybe trying to suck up and coming over and filling up his drink, he imbibes our Lord's wine himself directly. It's noted, and it doesn't go over very well. Congratulations, Zin. He does do something. He does decide to do something, though. Turns impatiently suddenly to TC, and as if he was suddenly decided on a whim, I don't know, no reason, something just might have pissed me off, to up a timetable about something, he calls upon TC But what now, my lord? I thought we were going to wait after dinner, kind of make it a thing. Anyway, out comes the hand, whack, and the droid goes flying across the room into a post, smash, and crumbles to the floor, and much more sparking and slowly getting up, shambling. Yes, of course, my lord.
It's a good joke. That's what mother used to do. What? Why is no one else laughing?
The whole room goes silent and stares at Merrick. And then slowly, as they're all waiting to see what, the king does, Darga seems to put together, what he did, what Merrick is laughing at, and everyone's looking at him, and Darga's looking at him, and then all of a sudden... and then the whole room just erupts into laughter.
He gets it.
And he pulls another big drink, so now Darga seems, relatively pleased that Merrick is so amused by how he treated, as if he's saving them up. As opposed to SWAT, shut up, SWAT, stay in your place, droid. He just lets so many go, and then all of a sudden, bam!
I'll lean into Dr. Leth and just kind of whisper into his ear, "This should have got me thrown somewhere dark. Clearly, I think we're needed."
Speaking of somewhere dark, Warwick Raiden, Devorian, now without his own little personal crew, scumbag, you'd all be so proud. No thanks to you, nervously pacing in his dungeon cell. Early release, open the door, a couple of Nikos just grab him and haul him out. Hey fellas, so yeah, second chance, this is good, right? And they drag him, and they're literally doing the two-arm drag where the guy's toes are dragging, and they have him they're holding him so he can't stand and low, and they just drag him forward, right? Throw him towards a couple of Gamorreans, and the Gamorreans just grab onto him and just carry him. And a short while later, while you guys are pondering, they retrieve him from the other exit. And, hey, look, there's Warwick being dragged in. And they kind of bring him before Darga, right here, right in close, but at the other end there, away from you guys. By this time, it's no secret that, to Oberys and Merrick, maybe you guys are quickly catching on, that Darga is not really pleased with Warwick about how he, failed to repel you or kill you or shoot you or whatever, and dragged you guys here, and without permission, without invitation. You missed all the groveling. Lesson 1 on how the crime world works. You failed. And thank you so much for bringing your replacement. And how do we thank you? Like an errand boy is dragged before the court and
Warwick
thrown to the ground a couple paces from the divan without speaking and having to interpret from Darga. TC just starts rambling off on him. You have disappointed Marlord for the last time, blah, 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 this and that type of thing, and I don't even like your pudding. It sucks. Proper dessert on Thursdays, that's what I say. Hey. Head spins around, looking for any kind of acknowledgement. No, nothing.
Hey, you get a bit of a chuckle from Poser.
Oh, thank you. Oh, he gets it. Yeah, double dip head over there. There you go. Anyway, where are we? Oh, yes. Looking back, this time kind of just looking at Darga for permission, and permission just sort of lazily closes his eyes and nods his head, reveling in the nonchalant power of just a nod could mean yes. But yes to what? His opulence, Darga. And there's 5 minutes of titles. Has sentenced you, Warwick Raiden, to death. And his head slowly just cocks around again. I said death! The whole room's just silent. Like the droid in his malfunctioning just expected a reaction. That silence, which is the proper reaction, or maybe it's not expected. There should be something. Laughter, jeers, boos, something. Anyway, he waits it out. Head spins around. Nothing happens. Okay. Comes back. Obviously, Warwick just picks himself up just high enough to throw himself down again and begins whining and crying and groveling and all this type of thing. 2 Gamorrean guards that brought him in step forward and grab him and just hold him down.
Merrick just takes a look over at Raul.
Rahal is standing expressionless, arms folded across his chest, but otherwise showing no real emotion whatsoever.
Merrick just gives a little head nod, like,
Do you want to make an impression?
if you want. Merrick's willing to do the heavy.
Rahal just looks over and shakes his head. Just does, kind of does the little like, whoa, calm down, big fella. Let's see how this plays out,
So you guys are, a couple of glances between the boss or whatever. Poser, what are you doing? The entire mood and the feel, the vibe, the force, everything just shifts to dread.
Yeah.
And as our leading force user, now obviously doing something, oh, kill him, type of thing. Dark side point for them, maybe not. But in your case, and most likely in theirs, doing nothing and watching a man die.
Okay.
Dark side points are coming, boys. So let's start with Poser.
Okay. But the thing here is, if it was an innocent man being brought before execution by a crime boss, of course. This is a criminal who has,
Who's this?
lied, cheat, steal, and tried to kill us.
Yeah. Haven't you guys done all that? Haven't you guys stolen things, arrived here, trying to make an impression on this world, just like people that were here, and shot bad guys?
But we have
I think we're tit for tat here.
But we have a camera crew.
That's true.
Not only that, but rarely were we the instigators of violence. We always were reactionary. Self-defense, thank you very much.
Sorry, I'm still pulled back to like the camera pulls out and there's like a big guy with a boom mic over Merrick nodding in agreement and another guy with a camera and a tape and they're all like, yeah, they got us. That makes a difference. Sorry.
So, yes, if it was an innocent person that was up for execution, of course, Poser would be heavily against it and probably trying to do everything that he could. He's a criminal. And this is kind of a lawless world right now. And Darga is making the laws.
Yes, very, very in need of people doing the right thing, wouldn't you say? Light side points for saving his life. Dark side points for letting him die. Is it that cut and dry? No, I'm not saying it's that cut and dry. But it is my job to warn you that the room is taking a dark turn. And we could look up, force points and how they're earned and gained. And I'm telling you, it's in there. Standing there and doing fuck all, especially if you're a force user, gets you dark side points.
Fair enough.
However,
I don't see how we could do much to involve ourselves here without getting shot to hell.
I think at this point, Poser would, obviously seeing what's happening, getting a feel for the room, is just going to turn to Rahal and be like, where are our quarters?
I didn't see nothing, no dark side point for me. If I'm not here, if I could leave the room before this shit happens. Well,
less of that, it's more of condemning the actions.
I'll give you guys this. If Poser wasn't in the room, our primary force user, then yeah, this would play out, and then we talk about consequences. But because the force user always has that jump, that I sense this coming type of thing, this is why I'm picking on Aiden out of the gate. What happens next is quite interesting. So there he is on the ground. Boo-hoo. Right? And TC's like, no, you had this coming. I'm telling you, your pudding's disgusting. It's absolutely vile. You knew this was coming. These guys are just sort of the final straw. And motioning at you guys, Darga lifts a hand.
Baruja.
And everyone stops, halting your conversation amongst yourselves and you're muttering.
What a wanga.
Like he gets this idea and tells the droid to translate, which you guys already know. Yeah.
Let's let our new guests handle things.
Very well, my lord. And TC shuffles forward. Would you care to do the honors? You're all bristling with weapons. See what you got.